The behemoth is described in the Bible in Job 40 verses 15 to 24 as a massive, powerful creature that God uses to demonstrate his supreme power. Here's a breakdown of its description. Before we start, we'd like to ask for your support. If you enjoy our video, please hit the like button. This will help us reach more people and create content for you. Now let's get started with today's video. The Bible contains many references to mysterious creatures, but one of the most intriguing is Behemoth, mentioned in the book of Job. Behemoth has sparked debate among scholars, theologians, and scientists regarding its identity, significance, and symbolism. This detailed study explores the biblical description of Behemoth, various interpretations of its identity, theological implications, and its relevance in biblical literature and ancient mythology. Biblical description of Behemoth. Behemoth is described in Job 40 verses 15 to 24 as a creature of immense size and strength. The passage is part of God's response to Job, where God speaks of his power and control over creation. Here is the full biblical description of Behemoth in the King James Version, KJV. Behold now Behemoth, which I made with thee, he eateth grass as an ox. Lo now, his strength is in his loins, and his force is in the navel of his belly. He moveth his tail like a cedar. The sinews of his stones are wrapped together. His bones are as strong pieces of brass. His bones are like bars of iron. He is the chief of the ways of God. He that made him can make his sword to approach unto him. Surely the mountains bring him forth food, where all the beasts of the field play. He leaf under the shady trees, in the covert of the reed, and fens. The shady trees cover him with their shadow. The willows of the brook compass him about. Behold, he drinketh up a river, and hasteth not. He trusteth that he can draw up Jordan into his mouth. He taketh it with his eyes. His nose pierceth through snares. This passage presents Behemoth as an enormous, powerful creature that dwells in swamps and rivers, eats grass, and has unmatched strength. The phrase, chief of the ways of God, suggests it is one of the greatest creatures God has made. Interpretations of Behemoth's identity. There are several interpretations regarding what Behemoth represents, ranging from real animals to mythical creatures or symbolic figures. 1. Behemoth as a real animal. Many scholars and Bible commentators have attempted to identify Behemoth with actual animals that exist or once existed. Hippopotamus. One of the most common theories is that Behemoth refers to a hippopotamus. Hippos are large, herbivorous, and live near water, matching the description in Job. However, the phrase he moveth his tail like a cedar poses a challenge, as a hippopotamus has a small, inconspicuous tail. Elephant. Some scholars suggest that Behemoth might be an elephant, given its immense strength and herbivorous nature. However, like the hippopotamus, an elephant's tail does not resemble a cedar tree. Water buffalo or rhinoceros. Other animals considered are the water buffalo or rhinoceros, though neither completely matches the biblical description. 2. Behemoth as a dinosaur. Young Earth creationists propose that Behemoth could be a sauropod dinosaur, such as Brachiosaurus or Apatosaurus. These dinosaurs were enormous, had long tails resembling a cedar, and were herbivorous, making them a compelling match. Proponents argue that Job, believed to have lived in ancient times, might have seen such creatures before they went extinct. This theory relies on the belief that dinosaurs coexisted with humans, which contradicts mainstream scientific consensus that dinosaurs went extinct millions of years before humans appeared. 3. Behemoth as a mythological or symbolic figure. Some scholars argue that Behemoth is a mythological creature rather than a real animal. In ancient Near Eastern mythology, creatures like Behemoth were often used to symbolize chaos or cosmic forces. Jewish mythology. In later Jewish tradition, Behemoth is sometimes portrayed as a primal beast that will be slain in the end times and served as food for the righteous in the Messianic age. Symbolism of chaos. Some theologians believe Behemoth represents chaos and disorder, similar to Leviathan, the sea monster described in Job 41. Both creatures appear in God's speech to Job, emphasizing divine power over all creation, including seemingly uncontrollable forces. Representation of earthly power. Some interpretations view Behemoth as an embodiment of earthly power and pride, paralleling human arrogance that God ultimately subdues. Theological implications of Behemoth. The description of Behemoth in Job carries profound theological significance. 1. God's sovereignty over creation. The primary purpose of mentioning Behemoth in Job 40 is to highlight God's absolute power. By describing this massive and uncontrollable beast, God reminds Job that human understanding is limited compared to divine wisdom. Behemoth, no matter how mighty, is still a creature under God's authority. 2. The limits of human understanding. Job, throughout the book, questions God's justice and governance of the world. God's response, using Behemoth and Leviathan as examples, underscores that Job cannot fully comprehend divine wisdom and the complexities of creation. 3. The battle between good and evil. Some interpretations see Behemoth, along with Leviathan, as a symbolic representation of evil or chaos that God ultimately controls. This mirrors apocalyptic literature where monstrous beings symbolize the forces of darkness defeated by divine intervention. Behemoth in ancient literature and other religious texts. The concept of Behemoth appears beyond the Bible in various Jewish and extra-biblical traditions. 1. Behemoth in Jewish Apocrypha and rabbinic texts. In 1 Enoch and 2 Esdras, Behemoth is paired with Leviathan as creatures created at the beginning of the world, with Behemoth assigned to the land and Leviathan to the sea. The Talmud, Baba Butra 74b, 75a, describes Behemoth as a colossal beast that will be part of the eschatological banquet for the righteous. 2. Behemoth in other ancient Near Eastern cultures. Some scholars compare Behemoth to the Mesopotamian creature Humbaba, a guardian of the cedar forest in the Epic of Gilgamesh. The Egyptian Apophis, a serpent representing chaos, has been seen as a parallel to both Behemoth and Leviathan. Conclusion: the mystery of Behemoth. Behemoth remains one of the most fascinating creatures in biblical literature. Whether viewed as a real animal, a lost species, a dinosaur, or a mythological figure, its presence in Job 40 serves a clear purpose: to emphasize God's sovereignty, wisdom, and power over all creation. For believers, Behemoth is a reminder of the majesty and complexity of God's works. For scholars, it continues to be a subject of debate and interpretation, bridging theology, mythology, and history. Whatever its true identity, Behemoth stands as a powerful testament to the awe-inspiring nature of God's creation. Please subscribe my YouTube channel. I hope you like this video. Thank you.